Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday, and welcome back to the Daily Grind. I'm your host, Chump Change. This is live recorded. What we do here for anybody that's new is basically go over crypto news, anything that's exciting over the weekend or the day before, depending on when we're streaming, and yeah, everything that's relevant in the market. So let's see who's here in the chat, and then we will go from there. I apologize, my throat's bothering me this morning, so had to get another cup of coffee. That's why I was a little bit late. All Set Miner, good to see you. Good morning. We have Andrew Masad, Backwards Miner, my man JF, good to see you. Chris Hanley, good morning. Overboard Tech, good to see you, buddy.
Stop talking about this shit.
Didn't mean to do that. Meant to do that. Blaine Anderson, what's up, man? Royce, good morning. Good morning. We have Steven Cicero in the house. Game with Smokey Dan, Big Black, what's up, buddy? Much Train, Regilio, Nick K, good morning. Mike the Miner. All right, everybody I may have missed, I apologize. Let's get into this market. See what we're looking like today. Bitcoin 42,135. Looks like Ethereum 2257. We have Dogecoin up over 8 cents, which is nice to see. Actually, you know what, there was some news we showed on Saturday Night Live. If you guys didn't see that, Dogecoin, somebody implemented what was it, the old Doom game from like PlayStation 1, like the old version on like the Doge network or something. It was kind of funny, kind of interesting. We have ETC over here looking like $23. Looks like it's taken, I mean, it's still pretty much down, but it did run up to 30 bucks. We know that. LTC $67. Looks like that's a bit undervalued, at least in my opinion, but nonetheless, to each his own. Kaspa 10 cents, 10.3. Let's see, XRP is 52 cents. Solana 96 bucks, not too bad. All right, let's check out crypto bubbles. So biggest earners on the week. Oh, real quick, Mr. DJ Death Star, thank you for the $5 super chat sticker. Appreciate it, buddy. I almost missed that. I apologize. All right, let's see. Biggest earners on the week. We have Teo. Looks like Bit&Sor is up to $353. 47.8% move on the last week. We have CFX, which is Conflux, up to 24.5 cents, up 36.4%. Sui, if anybody's into that, is up 37% to $1.45. HNT is up 23.4% to $7.87. We have Manta up 46% at $3.67. Actually 46.9, almost 47. Nothing else really. I mean, there's obviously a few others, right? IOTA, you can see, is up 18%, 25 cents. Injective, let's see this. Injective's up 7.7%, $36.63. Not too bad. Not too bad. What's the biggest earner of the day? It looks like Conflux, the biggest earner of the day. I wonder if that's on top of the charts for mining too. I wonder. If you guys have any questions, obviously just add me in the chat. I'm going to try to blow through all this pretty quick. Fear and Greed Index, we have 55. Again, to me, it's neutral. Anything before like 75 is really neutral. That's just my opinion, but even though they'll say that's greedy, right? It's in the greed as of right now, but not really. Not to me. But you know what they say, be fearful when people are greedy and be greedy when people are fearful. All right, let's see top 10 coins by coin market cap over on CoinGecko. We have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, BNB, Solana, XRP, USDC, Lido Staked Ether, Cardano, and Avalanche. Looks like Dogecoin still in 11th, and Avalanche actually took it by about $1 billion now. Look at that. I think Avalanche is going to be holding top 10. I guess we'll have to see though from now on. All right, Litecoin in 21st place. We have Shiba in 19th, if anyone cares. Bitcoin Cash into 22nd. You know what, I'm actually surprised Shiba still has this high of a market cap. Is anybody else with me on that? To be honest, I still hold about 1 million of it and I'm waiting to dump it, so I need it to rise. But just being real, I'm shocked that Shiba's still holding that high. We have Ethereum Classic 26th place, again $23.46. Let's see, Kaspa, I like to check to see where that is, and still ranked 40th. It's been holding 40th spot for quite some time. $2.3 billion market cap. It's doing pretty well. Arbitrum's been doing pretty good too. Let's see. All right, what other coins are popping out at you guys? You guys want to look at anything specific, let me know. I want to check out Honey this morning. How's this doing? Ooh, down 18.72. All right, so it's at 18 cents. Let's see the past. Well, I mean, you guys can see Hivemapper's been on a freaking tear, so it's about time it has some sort of pullback. But let's see. I would like to see it get back into the 20 cents. That would be nice. Into the 20s, right? All Hivemappers just hanging on by a thread. What other coins? Lithium. How's Lithium doing? Let's check that real quick. Lithium $1.90. Looks like it's under $2, but you know what? It was it's still pretty well up there from where it was, right? It was under $1, so it's gained about $1, right? which is nice. 100% move at least, but it was at 20 cents beginning of November. So the lithium's been on a freaking tear. And if you guys didn't know, let's get on to the mining segment of things. Oh, you want to look at Radiant real quick? All right, let's look at RXD. I always type XRD for some reason. It's always backwards every single time. All right, we're looking at, looks like a tenth of a penny. Yeah, down 3.1%. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not a holder of Radiant, to be honest. I don't see a reason to hold it. But you guys, I mean, some people like this coin, some people whatever. I don't know. I have no ill will against it. Maybe I'll buy into it, but I'm just not I don't know. I'm just not one of those guys that holds it, to be honest. All right, let's see. We have the miners over here. You guys know I like to timestamp this. I want to see what the most profitable miners were at the time of recording. We have the Windminer K9, 10.3 terahash, Kaspa miner, $71.24 a day. Bruh. This is getting worse and worse every single day. Every single day we look at it, it's crazy. Even though Kaspa is over 10 cents now, it was 9 cents and it was a little bit higher than this. So the I'm sure their emission schedule is not going to be helping, right? They shave off a little bit every single month from the rewards, so you get screwed. We have the Ice River KS3 8 terahash unit looking like $53.80. The KS3M 6 terahash unit making $37.95 a day. Again, this is after 10 cents per kilowatt hour. If you guys don't know, if you guys change this, you know, prices change. For anybody that might be new and never seen the site before, this is minetheasic.com. We have the Superscaler K10. If you guys didn't notice, this is the FPGA that is actually able to mine lithium now. So that's pretty interesting, to say the least. We have the Jazzminer X16P. I just dropped a video this weekend. If you guys didn't see it, go check it out. It was actually yesterday. I did a 4-day solo test. Actually, it was like 7-day solo test because I lost 3 days with Ethereum Classic. And then I pool mined for the other 4 days, and then obviously, yeah, so I gotta unplug that. Actually, I'm sending it to my man Mr. Max Voltage, so he's gonna be testing this thing out and having some videos, hopefully. So but this thing's a beast, to be honest. It's just too expensive. They want like 9 grand for it. It's crazy. I mean, it needs to be like half that, and then maybe I'd buy it. But it's a 5.8 gigahash unit, 1900 watts, so it's like stupid efficient for what it is. And again, 20 bucks a day is pretty good, but I think it needs to be a little bit less of a price. That's just my opinion. Let's see. We have the X16Q that I am still solo mining Octaspace with, to be honest. I have well, it's making $6.68 a day. This is mining this other coin, CAU, over here. The Ice River Kaspa KS1 I like to look at. That's a 1 terahash unit, 600 watts, $6.22 a day. Could be worse, I guess. Could be worse. Let's scroll down a little bit. Let's just see. There it is. The Ice River KS0 Pro 200 gigahash unit, 100 watts, $1.29 a day. It's not too bad. Could be worse. Could be much worse. But 5 of these, the reason I bought the 5 that I bought were because that the wattage, right, times it by 5 equals KS1 with the gigahashes as well, and it's 100 watts less. So you actually make out more with the KS0 Pros, in my opinion. Yeah, that's really it, guys. I think there's actually going to be a firmware update coming out with this today. My man Mr. Crypto KJ ended up giving me the info on that. I don't remember where it was, though. I don't know where he saw it, but he screenshotted it and said there most likely will be some sort of firmware update so we can get some more hash rate out of these. But I'll keep you guys updated on that. All right, let's check out the GPUs real quick, see what the most profitable is over here. Wow, Conflux isn't there. That's interesting. I swear I would have expected Conflux to be on top of the charts with the run up it's having. Interesting. Looks like Pyron, Aletheum, and Hypera. Interesting. AIPG's back on the top. Look at that. Look at that. Has solo mining Octa been good? Leo Lustig, yes, it has. Pool mining it with my X16Q, getting about 8.5 per day. Let me see if I can, hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up. I forget. I don't know if I bookmarked it. If I bookmarked it, I'll show you guys. Let me see. Let's see, rewards. There we go. I'll just show you guys now. Look at that. Look at that. All right, so this is my X16Q solo mining. I've hit 41 blocks. Income a day, so it's 8.8. What are you saying you're getting? 8.5, so it's a little bit more. But I mean, it's honestly luck, right? So you don't know if you're gonna get you don't know if you're actually going to get more or less. So I mean, realistically, that's really close. I would just stay pool mining. That's my opinion. I don't know, you do what you want, but That's pretty close to me, to be honest. All right, let's see. Really nothing else sticking out. Oh, I guess we got Conflux right here, right? We got Conflux here on one of the GPUs. Which one's this? 3090. Look at that. Not too bad. Could be worse. All right, so Conflux and Radiance there. Not too bad. All right, again, if you guys are interested in any type of ASICs, terahashes.com is actually up and live, so go check them out. They have all their ASIC miners, and these are actually prices straight to the door. So if you guys, you know, you're not going to get slammed with import taxes or any bullshit if you guys purchase through this site. So feel free, let them know I sent you if you guys are interested. All right, there is really no news per se of the day, but we're going to get into Mr. Crypto Zombies video. You know what, I'm just going to start from the beginning, because why not? Usually has a good beginning, but I do have to take off soon, so we're going to kind of blast through this video. I'm going to try to get out of here by 9 because I have to go snow blow, unfortunately. All right, let's get into this Bitcoin alert. Absolutely mind-blowing. You may want to sit down for this. Let's see what he's got to say over here. Shout out to Crypto Zombie. If you guys don't know him, go check out the link in the description. Let's do it.
The BlackRock Bitcoin Fund has currently got $1.8 billion in it. To give you perspective, that is 0.018% of BlackRock's total assets under management. 0.018%. The top 500 asset managers on earth control $130 trillion of capital. If that gets to a 1% allocation, you're talking about a $1.3 trillion net purchase of Bitcoin.
Perfect.
When everyone says you're lucky for buying BTC under 20K, but no one knows what you've been through. Oh, this is the best. It's so funny. It's so true, though. It's so true.
What's going on, guys? K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto
Sorry.
Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a...
So he ends up getting into some pretty good things. So just stick through this little beginning, like charting stuff that he does. It's only a couple minutes long, but we get into some good stuff with the guys over at the CEO of Marathon Digital, Fred. I forget his last name, but he actually gives a price prediction, and it's very interesting.
Great day today. What an interesting past few weeks we've had. In fact, without even just saying what's going on, looking at what happened in the charts, this is pretty crazy. So what happened was we actually had a very, very nice retest right here. You could see perfect, right? And we did have that bounce back. But what's so crazy is we had this insane wick all the way down here, pushing price down on the ETF news. And then at the same time, 2 weeks later, we have this very impressive, it's actually technically called a tail, but I still call it a wick, to the upside. So it's really putting us in a position where it has a lot of people scratching their heads saying, what is actually happening right now? Are we supposed to be bullish? Are we supposed to be bearish, right? Because I've noticed that pretty much crypto is split into two camps right now, right? There's the Jim Cramers and everyone's saying that it was a big failure, and that's it for Bitcoin. Pack up the bags. It was fun while it lasted. And then there's others out there that couldn't be more bullish, with even insane calls of $1 million Bitcoin by the end of this year. I'm not kidding. These are some real things. I mean, it's insanely polarizing right now. And, you know, if we just have a look over here, we did put in a very impressive 6% candle, right? So is it time for us to be getting bullish? Well, again, before I go into it, what I wanted to talk about today was the most logical explanation for why we're seeing what we're seeing. You know, forget the extremes on both ends, forget the super bearish, super bullish. Let's just actually break this down and see what happened after the ETF and why we did in fact see some of that price selling, and should we be leaning more towards, you know, the bearish side of things. You know, I want to talk about the macro. What can we expect over the next 12 months to even 24 months, you know, through the end of the year into 2025? Where could we actually realistically see Bitcoin price? And I also want to go over some pretty shocking data. I'm not gonna lie, when you actually see these numbers and you break them down in your head, it is going to really open up your eyes to exactly the bigger picture at hand, right? And, you know, obviously we're gonna talk about what goes on, you know, after the ETF, but, you know, and before we get into it, I just wanted to talk about something. I feel like this was a little controversial, but it's just me showing you what I'm seeing. So, you know, my video that I put out 2 videos ago, I got a little bit of mixed responses. Some people weren't happy with the fact that I was pointing out the obvious, that we had been bouncing around in this upwards parallel channel for quite a long time. Yes, we had a little bit of break to the upside, we had a little bit of fake outs to the downside, but for the most part, we always, genuinely reclaimed it or found ourselves back within that. But what you could see happen right here was all of this support that had been holding us all through this move, which, by the way, this basically started forming right around this area when Bitcoin was down around $39,000, and then it acted as resistance right here. And the thing I wanted to talk about on top of that is, even if we extended this a little bit lower, right, we brought it down to here, you could see that these still give us the points of contact that we're looking for, right? We had this, even on this crazy wick that we had right here, we still found some support. But then again, it acted as resistance not only once, but also twice. So I do want to talk about the technicals in the charts right now. We can't ignore it, right? We can just look at the news all day. That'd be great. We could just, blindly do whatever they're telling us is going on, right? Or we can take a more nuanced approach to the situation. So I'm going to put the TA at the end of the video because I know for some reason people just get bored out of their mind when we do the TA.
I don't think he's wrong there. We are going to skip the TA. So if you guys want to watch this whole video, please check it out in the link, the description below. I have a full link to the video, but this stuff is like the most important for like the right here, I guess, up to probably about 18 minutes or so. I didn't get to watch the entire thing, so let's do it together.
So let's dive in and let's first and foremost cover what I think is the biggest question on most people's minds, and that is, why did we see this sell-off after the event? We've heard lots of different explanations for it, but I think that Preston Pish, he was over on Natalie Brunell's channel, he broke it down, honestly, the easiest to understand.
Well, I think there's been a lot of people talking about the GBTC sell pressure that's occurred. I think that something that was missed by many leading into the actual approval is that all these ETFs had to have seeded Bitcoin in their treasury before they went live. And so that buying took place prior to the approval. And then after the approval, people that were buying the paper that represented the Bitcoin that was already in those treasuries that were already purchased on the spot market. And as everybody knows, the price was kind of running leading up to this event. Well, there's some of the rationale as to maybe why it was running leading up to the approval. But then post approval, GBTC, I mean, people that had IRA accounts and they owned Bitcoin in their IRA account, pretty much the only way they could do it was MicroStrategy or GBTC. After experiencing a massive discount in the assets under management inside the GBTC vehicle for, I don't know, a year and a half. I think and they didn't adjust the 1.5% fee relative to all the other ETFs that were being offered at, call it, 20 basis points.
Yep.
People were extremely frustrated and couldn't sell that thing fast enough after it got back very close to the par value. So you had all that sell pressure coming out of GBTC. You had, there were inflows to all the other ETFs, which were gobbling up and buying a lot of that. But that offset of them already having purchased their seed amount is the reason why the buying did not match the amount of selling coming out of GBTC here for the first couple days. It seems like maybe it's starting to level out, and maybe that sell pressure has subsided. And maybe we might start to see it run a little bit here.
So most of us know this by now, but it is interesting to consider the seeding, the fact that they had to have some funds available, so they were already purchased, right? So as that demand came in, all they had to do was basically give it to their clients. And then, of course, we had the GBTC issue. Now, there's other things he didn't even mention, right? Some people actually didn't get that good of a price when it came to this, and some of them are looking to potentially tax loss harvest, right? Which is
so that tax loss harvesting thing is the thing that I didn't understand the rules with the ETF. And I know someone corrected me in a comment the other day that said that's wrong. When you sell an ETF, you can buy right back in, but I guess the rule is you got to wait the 30 days if you decide to take that loss on your taxes. That's the rule. Like, you have to wait 30 days if you want a tax loss harvest.
Basically when you can sell for that loss. But keep in mind, especially in the US, there is the legality that once you do sell, you can't, if you're going to claim a tax loss and you're going to tax loss harvest, then you have to wait 30 days to purchase that asset back again, right?
So a lot of people from GBTC are probably doing that. They're, wanting to take that tax loss, which is, makes total sense, and then jump back into it later on. especially to a different ETF that actually has a better rate. That's not like 1.5% or 1.25. It's like 0.25 or 0.5, right? It's just a lot cheaper for them, so it makes sense.
That clearly is going to create a little bit of bouncing back and forth, up and down, right? And we again went over that the gold ETF had taken 10 months before it really started to take off. Now, I wanted to turn it over to Fred Thiel. Now, this
is the most important. Fred Thiel, that's his name. He's the guy from Marathon Digital, I believe. I don't know if it's actually called Marathon Digital anymore, but it's the Marathon mining company, right? That actually BlackRock, I think, is invested into a little bit. And what he says here is kind of it's shocking and awesome at the same time.
Is the CEO of Marathon. They're a very successful Bitcoin mining company. He's been in the space for quite a long time. He's not one to usually give price predictions, but this is what he had for an outlook for the next 12 months. And it's not only just coming from a Bitcoiner's perspective, but also a macro perspective, right? I know there's the doom and gloom about a recession and this and that and whatever, but I mean, they were called, so basically during the past 2 years, I don't know if you were watching YouTube, there was so much doom and gloom. There was so much, we're going to go into a recession. This is going to happen, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, times are definitely not great right now. But yet we had stocks hitting all-time high and Bitcoin continuing to move up the entire year of 2023 while most people were against it. So listen to what he says. Stick around to the end. I think you're going to find value out of this.
Guys, that like button, if you don't mind, please. Or Max Voltage will show you his cleavage like he said on Saturday Night Live. I didn't clip it, but I'm going to, and it's going to be on the soundboard. Don't worry, Max.
So I think you got a number of really good tailwinds. You've got obviously FASB, you have the ETF. You have the halving, which granted it's more of a psychological shock than anything else. As a supply shock, you're talking about going from 900 Bitcoin a day to 450 Bitcoin a day. There are millions of Bitcoin traded a day. So that supply change isn't going to really do a whole lot, but it's the psychology of it. But there are only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin. We've mined almost 20 million. The amount of Bitcoin actually in circulation today, liquid on exchanges, is somewhere between 1.8 million to 3 million, depending on the day. And what's going on with the ETFs, that liquidity will increase likely. But realize a lot of these ETFs, once the Bitcoin goes in there, if somebody's buying shares and somebody is selling shares of the ETF, that Bitcoin doesn't have to circulate anywhere on the blockchain.
How interesting is that, actually? And something that I didn't actually think of. That Bitcoin is no longer going to be circulating on the blockchain. It's just going to be the piece of paper inside the company of BlackRock, and the holdings are actually just going to stay in the BlackRock's or whoever's holdings, right? Whatever ETF company that you're trading inside of, which is just, it's kind of neat. And I didn't really think of it like that, but that Bitcoin isn't going to be moving at all.
It's just going to stay in the ETF, like in a corporate wallet at an exchange.
That's
and
crazy.
So, there will still be very tight supply.
So that's taking a lot of Bitcoin out of the market, which is also going to increase the demand and price rise and all that stuff.
So between all of those tailwinds, there will be demand increase and price will go up. And as you start getting sovereigns who want to hold more Bitcoin, we talked about they want to mine Bitcoin so that they can get their transactions processed. But, listen, there are only about 1 million Bitcoin left to be mined between now and 2140. So no sovereign is going to build up a whole wealth fund by mining their own Bitcoin. They only want to mine Bitcoin as a way to transact and be able to transact Bitcoin and process transactions. They are going to have to go in the open market and buy Bitcoin.
Facts.
So I think as you add up all these things, there's reasonable logic that supports an argument where by the end of this year, we should hopefully, and this is my personal opinion, it's not Marathon's official opinion, and this is not financial advice.
Can I just say this guy's microphone or Vistang's microphone has nothing on this guy's, just saying.
My personal opinion is that I think we will exceed the prior all-time high by the end of this year. There'll be a sell-off, profit taking, and then you'll see by the end of next year, will exceed that all-time high by potentially 2x.
So exceed the all-time high from the previous all-time high, the end of this year, then have a sell-off, and then probably a 2x on the following year of that all-time high that we hit at the end of this year, which would be insane.
And after that,
this is coming from a guy that's been in the game for a long time. He has one of the biggest mining facilities on the planet.
Who knows what's going to happen? Bitcoin may repeat its traditional cycles and go into a bear market, or we may be done with bear markets and it's really a macro environment where it's all about global liquidity. To your point, global liquidity will increase this year. I don't think we're going to see inflation fully tamed this year. I don't see the Fed doing max maybe 3 rate cuts. You're not going to see recession across the broad economy. You'll see pockets of recession. The PMI is down, for example, but consumers are still spending. You're seeing housing coming back now as interest rates are, real interest rates are dropping. So I think the economy is going to be a mishmash of signals, but global liquidity will increase. China's about to do trillion yuan liquidity injection. You're going to see Europe cut rates faster because their economy is in much worse shape than the US's economy is. And you're going to continue to see disinflationary areas of the economy, energy sector, for example. But you also have geopolitical risk, right? You got all the craziness going on in the Middle East. You've got stuff still going on in Ukraine and Russia. And you have the risk for China, Taiwan. So all of that means that the US fiscal spending is going to have to increase. There's nobody putting look at what Washington, the Senate just approved today, a spending bill that the House will likely approve. That is 1.6 trillion. I think it's a stopgap measure. The fiscal spending in the US is out of control. And when you've got $33 trillion of national debt that, oh, by the way, in Bill Clinton's day, he was the last president to have a surplus in the budget. The national debt in Bill Clinton's day was $5 trillion.
Damn.
Right? It's $33 trillion today. Right?
Wow.
The
Crazy.
General Accounting Office estimated at the end of Bill Clinton's term that if that budget surplus continued, the national debt would be paid off in 15 years.
Yeah, right.
Yet today it's ballooned to $33 trillion.
Crooked mofos.
Right? There's only one thing the US can do to control that debt, and that is either stop spending, which doesn't get anybody elected,
Facts.
or do something that lowers the value of the dollar, that lowers the cost of servicing that debt. And what does that bode well for? That bodes well for Bitcoin.
But then, of course,
he's not wrong. That bodes very well for Bitcoin.
The biggest question about the Bitcoin ETF is, well, what really comes next, right? And I was over on Mr. M's channel, which, by the way, if you guys didn't check out the feed, if you guys don't have that turned on, make sure you turn that on, because I was on his channel and we were talking a lot, very random fireside chat, just lots of different crazy topics, great time. And one of the things we talked about was whether or not the ETF truly was a sell the news event. Now, I suppose in the short term, maybe you could say, well, obviously it sold off, so I guess it was a sell the news event, right? Technically speaking. But
you know what? Nismo Miner, you made a good point. Or they sell the Bitcoin they have. You imagine? That would actually be a really bad thing. That would be a really bad thing for Bitcoin if they actually just dumped their holdings. Because if you guys don't know, the US is like one of the largest holdings of Bitcoin ever. They actually just will confiscate people's Bitcoin and put you in jail for a little bit and say, thanks, bro. And they let you out, like that guy from CNBC television, the guy who got caught taking advantage of Silk Road, that had a whole bunch of Bitcoin in his like his house, in like a ledger or his computer or whatever he had it in, and he got caught, and they ended up just taking all his Bitcoin, putting him in jail for 9 months and calling it a day, and they just let him go.
You look broader and long term, what you actually realize is it's not the equivalent of, for example, I like to just use the example of, let's say, a crypto token that's on Ethereum or something, and then it goes to a mainnet, right? And it becomes its own protocol. Well, that's usually a sell the news event, because once that happens, what other news are you going to get after that? Nothing. Now the protocol has moved to its own L1. It's no longer a token on Ethereum. That's pretty much it. That's not what happened with the Bitcoin ETF. The Bitcoin ETF, it wasn't a one-off event. It was actually opening the doors indefinitely, forever. Come on in. This is an event that will continue for the rest of our lives, right? But again, what comes after it, and how could we even get to some of those levels if some people are even saying that it is a sell the news event? Well, again, I got to turn it back to Preston Pish, because he talks about 2 cases that could possibly push up Bitcoin's price after the ETF.
The question about like what's going to be the rocket fuel. What I think is lost on a lot is the rocket fuel has already been loaded into the Bitcoin system, and how it gets loaded into the system is through the hodlers of last resort that just kept stacking more over the past 2 years. So as the price is going down, these hodlers that are so convicted into Bitcoin just keep gobbling up more and more and more as that price went down to, how low did we go? Like 15,000 or somewhere in that range, right? People, you saw posts at those moments in time saying, this is it, this thing's dead. Literally the European Central Bank came out and said, this is it, Bitcoin's over. And when it was around 15, 16,000 or something like that. But that conviction and that continual stacking of Bitcoin onto the balance sheet of net producers, people that are actually earning money and creating value in society and exchanging that value that they created for these monetary units that they're then putting on their balance sheet to never come back on the market again. That is what makes it go up in these bull runs. It's one of the two things that make it go up, okay? Because they're sucking that supply out of the system. And it's very different from gold, where once the price starts to run, they flood the market with as much gold as they can put into the market. And there's no difficulty adjustment that's preventing that flow or tightening that flow of monetary units in gold hitting the market. That in Bitcoin, it's very different. And for Bitcoiners that have done the homework and have figured this out, they can't buy enough of this stuff with their retained earnings. And so that's the first part. That's the rocket fuel. The second part is all the additional participants that are starting to see the contrast of the decay of the fiat units in contrast to Bitcoin that are now showing up. And once that price starts to run, what happens is a bunch of speculators step into the market. They might not be here for the long-term value prop, but what they do is they recognize momentum. And so they come into the market because they're like, oh, like Bitcoin has everybody's attention because Bitcoin's up, 150% in the last year? That will get a speculator's attention really fast. Okay. Now, if it goes another 150 in the coming year, perfect. Let me tell you, it really has their attention. And so what you're doing is you're attracting in a set of investors that are, I don't even call them investors. They're speculators that get sucked into the move. And then what happens to some of these speculators is they then become investors because they figure out what they actually own. Because the whole time that it's going up in these crazy runs, they're saying, what is this? What is this thing? And curiosity can sometimes, especially, and there's nothing more curious than Bitcoin. There really isn't on the planet.
Yeah.
Like, how can this thing that is this imaginary, made up, nothing unit, at least that's how the speculator would see it, is that there's nothing behind this. Why did these people keep on buying this thing? I'm making so much money speculatively, like owning this for the next 6 months. Like, this is crazy. What is it? And then they start doing homework. And then they start learning that it's not just some, made up Mario coin on the internet, and that there's like encrypted energy that's securing this thing, and it's distributed all over the planet, and all the stuff that we talk about all the time. That's what happens to the speculators. And if you keep 20, 30% of those speculators that came in just for price action, this is what sets the next floor of people in the next bear market that don't leave.
Something else to consider, and I know I
interesting. All right, I'm gonna jump off this. You guys, if you want to watch the rest of it, go check out Mr. Crypto Zombies video. Again, link is in the description. All right, I want to watch Altcoin Daily's video. I didn't get a chance to watch this yet, guys. Hit that like button. Did I hit that? I did. All right, just making sure. All right, Jim Cramer gives the worst financial advice of his life since the Daily Show. All right, let's see what Jim Cramer is blowing up today over on Altcoin Daily. Guys, that like button. Appreciate you all. Hate asking, but YouTube makes me.
We've seen Bitcoin double in anticipation of being wrapped up into an ETP. That's a cousin of ETFs. That was supposed to bring in many, many new investors. Billions upon billions of dollars came in to run ahead of the suckers who would buy the ETP when it was launched.
American television personality Jim Cramer gives his final plea for you to sell your Bitcoin. Says the ETFs were a failure, and you were a sucker if you bought.
The launch has been tepid, to say the least. In fact, there's been an actual outflow of crypto ETP money for the past few days.
And let's get into that. I want to share with you the true numbers.
Overall, less than $1 billion of net new money has come in to these new spot Bitcoin ETPs since they started trading 2 weeks ago, when people thought there would be tens of billions of dollars coming in.
Update. BlackRock's ETF now holds about $2 billion in Bitcoin. They have been the biggest dip buyers. Fidelity is very close behind. And yes, Grayscale is massively selling. They started out with over $26 billion in Bitcoin. It was already there. And of course, what Jim Cramer won't share with you, some of this has been locked up for years, and many now have to wait 30 days to get back into better Bitcoin ETFs.
You have lots of investors that went into the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust at 2%. They bought it at the Bitcoin at 50,000, 60,000, 69,000. And so when the ETF became available and they were able to sell the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust and take a loss for tax purposes, and you guys know this, they have to wait 30 days before they can reload. But it's a great
That's it. So it's a great arbitrage move for them, right? They can write it off on their taxes, and in 30 days they can get back in. And hopefully the price didn't surpass where they sold, and they can get right back in at the same spot.
Arbitrage for these
Makes
people. They can
total
go
sense.
from a 2% trust into a 21 basis point ETF, and they have to wait, and there's a lot of churn.
But some people that sold at like a profit, they just have to pay the taxes on it, but they can get right back into an ETF. So it depends how many people actually sold to tax loss harvest versus just people getting out of Grayscale to go to a cheaper ETF, if that makes sense.
You know, the entire market cap of Bitcoin was $487 billion on June 14th when BlackRock filed for their ETP, and then it rallied to $920 billion right before the spot ETP started trading, as Bitcoiners all over the world ran ahead of all the suckers who were supposed to come in and take them out of the trade.
Wait, time to buy the sweater? It's a pull of the sweater.
So even though Bitcoin dipped, in total, just about 20%, which has been very normal, a great buy the dip opportunity.
Well, now Bitcoin's up huge amount, and the expected boom is a bust. That means Bitcoin speculators are up huge, and the legendary Larry Williams, who predicted the exact top, is now saying that people are getting still one more chance to sell Bitcoin. But then it's all over but the shouting. Man, you know what? You can buy a lot of cashmere sweaters, a whole closet of them with that pricey
Caffeine. I think he's into booger sugar, this guy. He has way too much hype for all his bad information.
Bitcoin. But the bottom line, as Wall Street increasingly realizes it's time to ring the register, ka-ching, ka-ching, I'm begging you to take something off the table if you haven't done so already.
Now, over and over again in his career, Jim Cramer has told you to buy when you really should have sold, or told you to sell when you really should have bought. Good chance again to get out of crypto at the beginning of 2023. Bitcoin rose 40%. Netflix is a buy. Netflix went down to drop 50%.
Netflix is a buy. 2022, January 3rd. Look at this. It just fell off a cliff.
57%. This is
Oh my
legitimately
God.
called the reverse Cramer effect. And even in the now infamous housing market collapse of 07.
It's again, it comes down to that thing, right? It's do as I say, not as I do. That's what they want you to do, right? But in the backside, it's kind of like Jamie Dimon shitting on Bitcoin, saying anybody that purchases Bitcoin in my company, I'm going to fire them. And then next thing you know, they're the biggest purchasers out of like 2 people on the planet at that time.
08, when the banks started to go insolvent, like Bear Stearns.
I think my sources indicate that Bear's totally solvent, that there's not an issue. My understanding is very firmly that Bear is not in trouble.
You know what, Jim Cramer, he is a smart guy. Don't get it wrong. He is a smart guy, but I feel like I don't know what the whole thing is with this whole inverse Cramer shit, because I don't know. It's very strange. It's very strange.
Jon Stewart of The Daily Show confronted him back in the day.
How the hell did we end up here, Mr. Cramer?
Asked him why.
I can't reconcile the brilliance and knowledge that you have of the intricacies of the market with the crazy bull I see you do every night.
There's a market for it, and you give it to them, and I think
There's a market for cocaine and hookers.
And let's not forget, Jim
That's actually great.
Cramer is
That's
a very
hysterical.
Smart individual. He is not just
I can't believe we called him on a TV like that.
an American television personality,
That's
but
great.
a former hedge fund manager who knows how this works.
You knew what the banks were doing, and yet we're touting it for months and months. The entire network was.
Wow.
And so now to pretend that this was some sort of crazy once-in-a-lifetime tsunami that nobody could have seen coming is disingenuous at best and criminal at worst.
And even though Jim
not
Cramer
wrong.
today is telling you, sell it now, sell a little.
It's the disciplined thing to do. I am not saying sell everything. I am not saying get out now. I am saying do a little schnitzeling, and you will regret it.
I think you will regret it. Not that taking profits isn't smart, And at top of cycles, if you believe this to be, it's always good. But at least give us the real stats, because the grayscale selling, although it was maybe bigger than people expected, is almost over. BlackRock
he just gets paid to shill nothing more or less. I wonder what the motive there is.
just lit up the Bitcoin
Weird.
ETF scene, leaving GBTC volume in the dust for the first time. This was yesterday. Actually, Bitcoin surged 5% yesterday after grayscale ETF outflows fell almost 50%.
I think Grayscale is going to kick themselves in the ass for keeping their fees as high as they are, to be honest.
Only 255 million. Imagine when they stop. And actually, compared to traditional markets, the Bitcoin ETFs were a huge success. Over 600 ETFs have launched since the start of 2023, and BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF is already in top 3 based on current assets. And new, BlackRock is on track to be number 1 by next week, with, by the way, Fidelity in the top 7 as well. And all this is before the big advertising, Google to start allowing Bitcoin ETF ads in just a few days, affected.
Oh God. Please, guys, for the love of God, be careful with scams. If Google's allowing more ads, just be careful, please.
From the 29th of January.
There's like even scam ads on my videos that I can't control. It'll just be like, Michael Saylor with a complete deep fake and a QR code saying, scan this, I'm gonna send you free shit. Like, it doesn't happen. They're not gonna send you free shit. Please don't do it. Okay? Just be careful.
Cryptocurrency does not seek to replace currency. It's a bad name. Cryptocurrency seeks to replace banking.
And in this 90-second
that is so true.
Expert Brian Brooks simply explains the...
That is so true. And that is such a misconception of people, or just people higher up, right? It's not about replacing the dollar. It's about replacing the banks.
Real reason why Jamie
so
Dimon
true.
hates Bitcoin.
The core things that banks have done since the 1300s.
And now it makes more sense why Jamie Dimon hates it, actually.
Those are going to go away, 100%. And let's just be clear what I mean by that. The reason that we even have banks originated in Italy around the year like 1340, all right? And the reason they originated was because of a set of accounting advances that allowed banks to serve as trusted intermediaries between parties that owed each other money. Before that, literally, I would write you a note and I would promise to pay you money and you'd put the note in your pocket and you'd see if anybody else would take the note. That's why we refer to discounting notes.
Have ever seen Dumb and Dumber with the suitcase? That one's 50,000. I want to keep that one.
And then banks arose and it was like, you no longer need to do that. We'll take care of it for you, but you're going to have to pay us to do that. That function of needing a trusted intermediary to maintain ledgers of account to figure out, do I owe Brooks money or does Brooks owe me money? It turns out that function no longer has to be done by human beings. The same way we don't need postal clerks anymore. I can send you an email for free and it's instant and that's just the end of the post office. Sorry, but it just is.
And of course, banks are not going away. They're now only becoming specialized.
What's going to be left for banks is the high value add services, structured finance, investment advisory, all of the things that make a dynamic economy function. We still need people to do that. There's a lot of creativity going on in finance. But the core of banking, the base of the pyramid, the thing that drives most of their revenue, doesn't need to exist. And that's why I say, and I was saying to one of the organizers even before we stood up on this panel, cryptocurrency does not seek to replace currency. It's a bad name. Cryptocurrency seeks to replace banking.
This is an ongoing story. Click subscribe to stay informed.
Crazy.
Help us get to 1.4 million. And if I can make one recommendation for you, be sure to watch this video.
I'm gonna just
Be sure to catch myself and my brother.
Oh, you know what? He's just gonna show a little bit. All right, let's. Oh God, I really want to watch the next one. 5 lessons. You know what? We're gonna watch this real quick. All right, 5 lessons to become a crypto millionaire. Watch this to get rich. I don't think that you should. All right, that is. I don't believe that. But let's just watch this to see what he says. Altcoin Daily.
Biggest Bitcoin.
Guys, that like button, please. I hate asking, but YouTube makes me. Let's get 100 likes so we can. We have 73 right now, 138 watching.
Bull run in the history of Bitcoin is imminent. See, most people don't realize this. The Bitcoin ETFs are sucking up supply at a rapid, steady pace. In fact, you're going to start seeing a lot of advertising for Bitcoin and crypto very soon. Moreover, Bitcoin supply flow is months away from being cut in half. Cryptocurrency is the future. Most people don't realize this yet. Bitcoin is going to hundreds of thousands of dollars per coin soon. Bitcoin company CEO Jack Mallers explains exactly why. Listen.
This thing's going to hundreds of thousands of dollars per coin. I mean, the US government is in so much debt. The way I think about Bitcoin's price equals technology plus fiat liquidity. So it's going to go up because it's innovative tech and it's better money. But what really shoots it up at a neck-breaking pace is when our government is tens of trillions of dollars in debt and has to roll that debt over. So they got a lot of money to print and financial assets are going to soar. And Bitcoin goes up the most because it's the hardest to make more of. It's over, man. This thing's going to the moon.
He's like, if it doesn't, she left me for nothing. this closet he records and cracks me up. It's just like the biggest closet I've ever seen in my life. And it's completely empty. There's nothing in it.
Host of this TV show actually cuts the guest off. He was speaking too much truth. I've never seen a host try to silence a guest like this just for talking about Bitcoin.
Oh man, Randy Hipper, how do you feel about that guy trying to silence this dude? I think you should fight him next time you're on set.
See for yourself.
Fiat currency is not the place to be, huh?
Charles, this would be my message to America. Give me a second on this one. Guys, the US government's got about $10 trillion over the next 2 years to roll over, refinance. That's debt. Our country's in debt. It's a huge problem. They got 3 options. 1, they could pay it back. It's not a real option because we don't got the money. We're broke. 2, our government could come out, Charles, and say, you know what, guys, we screwed up. After World War II, we changed the way money worked. We got off the gold standard. We issued debt all over the place. We got way too cocky. And actually, all of our banks don't have your money. They're insolvent. All the airlines you fly and travel on aren't actually good businesses that should be in business. Healthcare shouldn't actually be free. We screwed up. We piled on so much debt and screwed up the younger generation.
Wow, he's literally going into it.
We're in huge trouble. So we're going to have to let everything fail and reset this country. Now, they're not going to do that, are they, Charles? They have a third option, which is unique to the government. They could print the money that they're missing. And when they print the money that they're missing, they're stealing from all the people that hold US dollars. And so what they'll do, they'll have to do is print dollars. And the only way to save yourself is own not dollars. And that's when you see things like the S&P 500 and gold and Bitcoin soar. And so that's what's going to happen over the next 2 years. They got to print 3 times more than they did during COVID.
I love your enthusiasm, Jack. We're going to bring you back. We really.
He's like, please shut the F up, because I'm going to get fired.
I love your enthusiasm and your message. Thanks a lot for sharing it with us. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, honey.
All right, buddy.
Quality.
He's like, all right, now I'm going to go find some rope because the CEO just watched this and I'm fucked.
Altcoin projects like this continue to upgrade and improve. These blockchains are now
shout out to that guy. I don't know his name, the kid that, or dude, I don't know how old that dude is, but whoever he is, shout out to him because that was amazing.
Generating millions and millions of dollars in revenue. This is huge for sustainability, huge for project growth. And the interoperability, projects connecting and talking to each other now, today, is at a whole different level. Check this out. This conversation is fascinating because leaders in the emerging technology and AI space now understand that AI will be using crypto. Listen to this conversation. Tell me what you think.
I think you think Bitcoin is real, right? My question now is it's become mainstream.
Why does this guy look like he's scared? He looks so scared.
To the point of ETFs, I think it's to be harder to go higher quickly. Now, unlike it was supposed to be that everyone can get in now and that all the ETF companies are going to need to buy Bitcoin to put it in the ETFs. To me, it's like if you bought it at $800 or $8,000, you were smart. You went through a lot of trouble to buy it. Now everyone can buy it. I think it's going to be here for a while.
There's not going to be a whole new financial story driving it from the side of buyers necessarily, although there's one type of buyer that could be very important here. AI agents are going to start doing a lot of things in our economy. And for AI agents to coordinate with incentive systems, they're probably going to use crypto. And so if this AI story works out in certain consumer areas, especially...
And then tokenizes everything. To AI, yeah. You know, Kathy Wood, 500,000, $1 million. And that's I can't believe any. Yeah, but
they're not going to be trading Bitcoin. They might be using Ethereum. They might be using Solana. They might be using other things that they can tokenize.
Those are the three they might use, and they're probably all correlated at the end of the day. And
by the way, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Daily videos just like this. Channel daily videos.
The 500,000 story for me, Joe, is more about is more about the macro question. Are we going to be in a massive deficit in 25 and 26 and spending money willy-nilly, irresponsibly? If so, what assets safe? I mean, if you have inflation come up again, you have bonds sell off again with crazy government spending, that's a story I'm hearing from a lot of my friends who know macro better than me. You could see crypto do very well.
Like, understand how much momentum crypto has right now. I don't think most people realize in 2023, Ethereum gained 15.4 million new users. Polygon, 15.2 million new users. Bitcoin, 10.7 million new users. Solana, 5.6 million new users. Additionally, and this is interesting, loyalty rates show, the data shows that 86.9% of users stick to their first EVM compatible chain. So people tend to be chain loyal. Yet, as developers branch out across
That's like people being comfortable buying the same car, or like, you know what I mean, something along those lines. Like whatever you're comfortable with, you kind of just stick to that.
And everything becomes more interoperable. User patterns are set to follow because the trend is clear. A multi-chain horizon beckons. This is crazy. Even Bitcoin hater Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, even he now says that he's going to shut his mouth about crypto. I can't believe he just said this. Do you believe him?
I defend your right to do Bitcoin. I think, it's okay. I don't want to tell you what to do. So my personal advice would be don't get involved. But I don't want to tell any one of you what to do. It's a free country.
What do you make of the other firms, the BlackRocks of the world that obviously, and Larry Fink changed his view of this, obviously. Yeah. And maybe he changed his view because you think he genuinely believes in Bitcoin or believed it because he thinks that there's a marketplace for it and he wants to be part of that market. But what do you think of the big financial companies, Fidelity included?
Number one, I don't care. So just please stop talking about this shit. I don't know what he would say about blockchain versus currencies that do something versus Bitcoin that does nothing. And maybe that's not different than me. But, this is what makes a market. People have opinions. This is the last time I'm ever going to state my opinion.
So what is the best way to become a crypto millionaire over the next 1 to 2 years? Reminder, videos on this channel are never financial advice, just info and opinion. But number one, study the market every day. Follow along with our videos. You can still easily become an expert at crypto if you put your mind to it. We are early. Number two, have a plan to realize profit.
It is very hard to be an expert with crypto, just saying. But being consistent is key.
You don't want to go through this whole cycle without locking in profit. That being said, number three, have a HODL position for quality projects. I have HODL positions for coins like Bitcoin and Ethereum especially, but also coins like Solana, Injective, Chainlink, Mina, and others. I'll be keeping a position in these coins for more than a cycle, to some extent. Number four, scale out and scale in. I cost average in, I cost average out. This works for me. Number five, not your keys, not your crypto. Very important in crypto. And just overall, my friends, stay tuned in even when the market dips or bad things happen and you're feeling bad.
So as long as you guys remember that, the ETF, right, you're not really owning or holding this Bitcoin. Whoever you're getting it through is holding your Bitcoin. You're getting a piece of paper, right? If you guys want to have your own crypto, your own custody, get like a Tangem or a Ledger. If you want Tangem, CCXD, 10% off. Actually, that's my daily driver. It's super easy to use, just an app of your phone and a card that you scan. And yeah, that at the end of the day is you taking ownership of your own BTC. You don't have to worry about them locking it up for any reason. You can trade and sell, buy, sell whenever you want.
I totally believe in the truth of the saying, it's not timing the market, it's time in the market. There's a reason why people who last in crypto stay in crypto. Guys, we post one video every day.
Shout out to Altcoin Daily. All right. I unfortunately have to get out of here, but let's just real quick recap. Do you guys want to talk about anything before we get out of here? Ledger, no bueno. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Ledger was like my number one, like, okay, my hardware wallet to hold stuff in. And now, like, I haven't plugged my Ledger in like 2 years, 3 years, maybe. It's been a while since I plugged it in and actually, yeah, just have access to the internet. It makes me nervous because of the sharding and all that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Ledger's kind of went downhill. So to me, I know it's not a hardware wallet, but Tangem's good. LEPAL, actually, you can get I think 10% off with LEPAL too with my code CCXD. So if you guys are interested in that, go check it out. LEPAL is a great air-gapped cold wallet. So if you guys are interested in something that's like super secure, super safe, LEPAL is going to be one of those ones where you put the stuff on and just kind of throw it in your safe. Tangem is probably the second best to that, in my opinion, with the ease of use for a semi hardware wallet, right? It's kind of like a warm wallet. It's not so much cold, but it will definitely it'll do its job, and it'll keep people locked out. Even if you lose the card, you need a PIN code to get into it once you scan the card. So if they don't know that PIN, they ain't getting into it. So, and Tangent's actually stupid cheap. That's kind of the main reason. It's easy to push, more or less. If you guys haven't seen Tangent, let's just go look at it real quick, and then I have to go shovel. Tangent.com. It is, and they actually just released a white version. Look at this. They have white cards now. That's cool as shit, but it's probably dirty as hell. But they're honestly, they're stupid cheap. Like, they really are. Where is it? And they have where is it? Get Tangent right here. And if you guys want, like I said, it's capital CCXD. We'll get you 10% off. But yeah, so like $60, $50 for a 2-card set, and they actually do have the seed phrase version. I don't know if it's like I don't know how to do it actually. Maybe when you sign up for it, it'll ask you if you want your seed phrase. But they do have a seed phrase option now. I don't know if it's a different. I thought it was a different card, to be honest. I could be wrong. I don't know. Anyways, but Tangent's is my daily driver. It's honestly, it's so stupid easy to use. You can have a shit ton of coins on it. It just makes sense. And then LEPAL, same thing. LEPAL is a good one. I don't know if it's .com or not. It is LEPAL.com. All right. LEPAL actually integrates with MetaMask and all that, so there's a lot of stuff you can do on here. I don't know, maybe on checkout, yeah, at CCXD it'll give you the 10% off. But LEPAL, this one's cool. Titan Cold Wallet, it's like literally everything proof. You like literally can't break this thing, and if it gets broken, it's like stupid secure. If you try to break into it, then it just gets shut down. Right here it says anti-disassembly, anti-tamper. So like people can't, sell these things on eBay with like shit in them and hack your stuff. So that's kind of a good thing. But anyways, all right, so let's see. Yes, it asks in the setup. Okay, cool. Steven Cicero. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I thought it was like a separate purchase, but apparently not. They'll ask you if you want your seed phrase, which is cool. They added Aletheium to the cards yet? No, Nismo. So you can get, so Aletheium, they add what's it called? You can have it on, I think, the Ethereum chain. I'm not sure. It's a different chain. It's not the main chain of Aletheium. There is a Mr. Steven Cicero. Let me see. You know what? Let me see. I should have. I was gonna, comment this out. Actually, I gotta go to Twitter. Let's see. Did they announce it on Twitter there when they were posting? What's it called? The new updates. I think they did. Let me see real quick. Hold on, we're gonna see. And man, this dark mode on my desktop is messing me up. All right, let's see. Let's go to Tangent. I think they have a list here. I don't know when they put it out though. I wish they put it out really close, but they probably didn't. There's like a roadmap. I don't know where the image is. I don't know where it is. I think it's in my Discord. Oh, all right. I'm gonna look at my Discord then. Let's see. Let's open Discord and just see if I can find it there, and then we're gonna get out of here because I really have to go shovel. I don't want to, or snowblow. Mr. Steven Cicero. I know you put it in here somewhere. I need to find it. Thank you very much. You're awesome. Love you long time for posting it again. All right, network integrations. Here we go for Tangent. Now they have Nexa, Koinos, Radiant, and Dynex. These are 3 huge coins. I can get rid of my core wallets on all of them. I don't have Radiant, but I will have Radiant now that it's in, or going to be in Tangent. They added Algorand. They added VeChain and XDC network this month. Next month they're adding Algorand, Hedera, and Aptos. So it's just an amazing wallet that you guys have like a decent amount of coins you can hold in there, and I'm sure they'll add Aletheium and stuff at some point, but I think they have a suggestion section where you can go ask if they'll add certain coins too. So that's pretty sweet. All right, guys, I appreciate you all. Unfortunately, I have to get the hell out of here. Thank you guys for joining the Daily Grind. We're gonna raid Miss Randy Hipper, but she is not live for about another half hour, so stay tuned, stay put, and I'll send you guys right over there. Have a good day. I'll catch you guys bright and early tomorrow morning, and peace out.
Eat shit, Gary. You are a loser. You always lose.
This hash rate's going bonkers.